Okay, today we'll be sharing some success story and some tip about real estate development strategies, a lot of things. She's a whole lot of things in one. By the time I read it, you understand what I'm trying to talk about. But because we have a seated already studio, I'm going to do the introduction first before we go for a tip. So we have Debra Olokesusi. She is business development director of Oakland Heavens Real Estate Limited. She also has background in sales, in accounting, and strategic partners. It's good to have you. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing, Deborah?
How's
You look good.
Thank you.
She looks like the Monday morning.
Yeah, she looks like Monday morning. Anyways, very soon we'll be asking questions to success story, how you decided to dive into real estate planning, development, because trust me, when I see women in this sector, I always doff my heart for them because it's a lot. But every job, yes, it requires a lot of expertise. But it's, there are some jobs you just know that it's quite rare to see women in that field. So yes, we'll be doing justice to that anyway. But let's quickly go for a tip. This first tip, little or nothing, basically, to do with the success. I have to put it out there for people who, because we already know this is the sixth month. In the year 2025, of course, it's something that everybody needs to start saving. It's not until, okay, we have Ilea this day, definitely. We have Christmas coming up, and we have a new year, and we know by October or so, there will be a new resumption of classes where you have to pay another school fee.
That's the one they should save for, not just Christmas and New Year.
You save for that one rather than even that would the
you
school. I'm
serious?
telling you. But anyways, we're not talking about saving this time around. We're just trying to help us build ways to have financial discipline. And I know a lot of people who just have money come into their pockets, but yet they do not know how to be disciplined financially. So they spend on anything that they like and what they need, and sometimes what you want might not necessarily be what you need, so you just have to know which one according to your scale of preference. Anyways, quickly go for the tip. We'll be right back to the studio to continue the program. Stay with us.
Living with less money stress is definitely within reach, but getting there requires financial discipline. If you're accustomed to a cycle of earning and spending and run out of money, learn to build a disciplined financial life may be challenging, but it's doable. Consider taking these steps to cultivate financial discipline and create a strong, stress-free future. 1. Understand your status quo. Before you can make strategic, disciplined decisions with your money, you need to know money is going currently. Start tracking your spending, every penny, on a spreadsheet, in a notebook, or using a financial app. You can categorize your spending in buckets such as housing, entertainment, groceries, utilities, dining out, and transportation. Within a few weeks or a month, you should be able to see trends. 2. Create a budget. To be financially disciplined, you have to have a plan to follow. Now that you have data to show where your money goes, the budget, also known as the spending plan, to direct where you want your money to go. An easy way to design a budget is to follow the 50-30-20 plan, which means using 50% of your income on needs, which are housing, utilities, groceries, and 30% on wants, entertainment, vacations, dining out, Netflix, and 20% on financial goals, your savings and debt repayment. 3. Automate savings and debt repayment. It's often easy to justify using extra funds for want rather than leaving some for savings and repayment each month. Instead, set up automatic contributions to savings and to repay your debt. As a result, you will never have to worry about paying late fees, and you can build a savings fund so you won't have to rely on credit in case of a future emergency. 4. Avoid incurring new debt. A lack of financial discipline is often evidenced by regular unplanned spendings. It's no surprise that undisciplined spending and impromptu purchases often result in unsustainable debt. To stop the cycle, you have to stop taking on new debt. How can you stop creating debt? Be sure to include a small amount of money in your monthly budget that you can spend as you choose so you won't feel completely deprived. 5. Keep a check on your debt. Even if you're making automatic debt repayment, you need to know how much money you owe creditors. Create a reminder on your calendar to check your balances and credit cards, lines of credit for personal loans every 2 weeks. If not, every regular check-ins will help you keep track of how much you owe and progress you're making towards your goals. 6. Be patient. Changing your financial habits and meeting your financial goals takes time, so be patient with yourself. If you occasionally slip up and revert back to your old ways, don't be discouraged. Instead, keep your eyes on the end result of meeting your financial goals and becoming a more confident money manager with more money in your bank. With your budget and goals, remind yourself why you want to make changes and get back on track. Developing a disciplined approach to managing your finances is worth the effort.
All right, you're welcome back to watching Women's Corner. Well, let's just go into what we have to do. Like I said, we have Debra Olokesusi, and I said she is a business development director at Oakline Heaven Real Estate Limited. She has background in sales, accounting, and strategic partnership. Okay, so my first question is, how did you dive into real estate? What was the drive? Is this something you just decided to do? Because we know a lot of Nigeria, you know, you could be a medical doctor and find the person is a real estate manager, right? And people just, they say Nigeria will shift your destiny, kinda, you know. But is it like you, or was your passion right from time, or something that, you know, you meant in mind and you just continue with it?
You know, real estate for me has been something that always been part of me, because that's what my dad does. So right from time, I've always studied him, look at him, the way he goes about it. You know, real estate is something that men goes into. It's a men's world. So women going into it is somehow tedious. When you have the passion, when you're passion driven to go into something, you definitely achieve it. So I have the passion ever since, and with God I'm able to.
Well, so what were the things that you saw your dad did that you were like, okay, I think I can work with this, I think I can do it? And you know that those things that you saw him do are the things that you have to, you know, imbibe into yourself to be able to be like him and even more better.
You know, this life, you have to find out what do people need, what do they need, and you are ready to give them the service for what they need. You know, right from time, I've always watched him. He brings people together, parties. Okay, you are in need of land, you are in need of building houses. So it goes all about bringing parties together, and before you know, there's a connection. And
so that means you mean he organizes parties?
Yes.
So you organize parties too? Yes. Invite us for your party.
And real estate agent.
Oh, okay, real estate agent. Be specific.
Yeah.
So we know.
Okay, so my question is, you didn't study real estate in university. What did you study?
I studied accounting. Yes, I studied accounting, and I know much very well about business, sales, and all of that.
Okay,
so my background is accounting.
All right, sorry for interjecting. Now, you said something, so I didn't want to forget my question, because you said you're into accounting. So that has to do, well, a little bit with the real estate. Now, I'm talking about from the angle of people who want to get into real estate, not as a business, but having a house, owning a land. Now, for someone who is in accounting, obviously you know what it means to save, or you can save, and all of that. Is it possible for someone who is earning below 200, or even let's put 100, because 100,000, is it possible for the person to be a landowner?
Yes, it is very possible, much possible to be a landowner, even when you are earning below 100.
Really? How please share?
When you put something into practice, definitely achieve it. When you think about it in your mind. When you see this thing, I want it, you think about it, you walk towards it, and you get it done.
So what are the practical ways? Is it by what, like, I need, just let's be practical, I earn 100k and I want to own a land, maybe not in Lagos, could be in Ogun State, maybe the environs, right? Now, how do you think I can make that possible? I want to save, but I don't know how to go about it. What do you think I should do?
Okay, let's look at this angle. We can go into a mortgage. You go to mortgage banks to get to make it easy for you to
get a land.
To purchase the land.
Yes, because getting loan to purchase the land at mortgage banks, it's
easy. They know if you don't pay back, they take over the land, right?
And you know land appreciates. So
oh wow.
So, but will the mortgage banks give you the amount that you need to buy off the land, or they just give you to pay something and then you start paying gradually?
You know, mortgage bank, that's what they do. They are into giving loans, buy lands, build houses. So that's what
they
need
do.
To know this mortgage bank. For real? I'm just hearing that for the first time.
Yes.
Okay, so how do you not come in? How this is like some say I want to get a piece of land. It could be the environs of the state. It doesn't have to be late. How do you come in there as a consultant?
As a consultant in real estate, where you get to know your partners, you get to know your clients, you ask them which area do they really want. You know, it depends on their choices. So you ask them the vicinity they want, and we are always out for the customers, our clients, getting the value for their money. So we are always after that. So
as a real estate agent, I'm sorry, now let's just say some persons do not have the luxury of probably having your contact or meeting with you to get them in place. Now, when they take them for inspection, right, to inspect the land they want to get, what are the things that they need to see? They need to check around that house or that land rather, that is a dues for them, meaning they can get the land, is safe, it's okay. And when they see these things, they see that thing, they should run. They should not get that land. What are those things?
You know, I will say, if I'm getting something, I'm getting a property now. I want the best property. So likewise, I want my client to get the best. So we ensure at an Oakland level, we ensure that the place you are getting to see the environment is serene and conducive. There is no swamping area that you begin to feel where there is a waterlogged. Getting the land will not even enjoy the land, and money you used to feel will even be more than the money you invested in getting the land. So we look out for that.
Let me portray what the son is trying to ask. I understand where she is going. I think it has to do with documentation of the land. Okay, so there's something. I was actually in a property in Lekki. Okay, so it's a complete house, so there for inspection and all that. A friend of mine who is into what you do called me and said, "Don't buy that land first. I need you to allow sir to be sure that it won't be among the houses that will be demolished in future." How do your clients, how do you help your clients to know all this before they make
and also add to that, not just that, there are some lands that you go for inspection for and you find out it was unfilled, you know, and I know that kind of house is quite risky to build on, to have a foundation. I don't know if you so please, that's one of the things we want you to expatiate on.
Okay, let me have the first question.
Okay,
getting a land, you need to go to the housing to get the facts, the documents, because getting a property now, you don't just get property, you have to find out there must be proper documentation on acquiring a real estate or a land. So if that is not there, I wouldn't advise, or don't bring a client together to
do that.
So we'll make sure the documentation are real and genuine. So before we bring
so that means while your documentation are real, such clients have to be aware of this documentation.
Yes.
Now I just want to be explicit. What are these documentation by name? What are the things they need to make sure that their agent or their consultant have in place before they go ahead?
We have the CFO, the certificate of ownership, the survey. We have the deed of agreement between the parties, the seller. They must come to agreement that this, I'm giving consent to sell this. Okay, it's not that they are selling this behind me. I'm giving the consent to sell this. They are selling on my behalf. So the buyer be rest assured that I'm at the safest.
But sometimes it turns out to be family land.
Sometimes,
always tussle for that.
Dispute.
Yes, when there is a family tussle, that's why we come in to make sure we go to the families in concern, the families that hold the land, because to sell the land when the families don't even give, so we find out the families that hold the land, go to them, we make agreement. That's called deed of agreement.
Oh, okay. So about the other part of the land thing, how do you know when that land is not good for building?
Okay. You know when a land is not good for building, but you inspect. That's why the inspection, there's room for inspection even before you make payment. So you inspect what you are putting your.
But I don't know if the land, if I even inspect, they take me there. I don't know.
Is that not why you?
I don't know.
That's why our clients, we have them at heart. We have their interests at heart. We do that for them, because when we don't do that thoroughly for them, when they don't get satisfied with what they will not introduce others. So that's
so I like the fact that you're saying your own company. Now I just want it to be a general knowledge for people, because we have a lot of people, you see, when they talk about real estate people, most, sorry to say this, but most social media users will tell you they're the first person to get to the gates of hell. I don't know why they say that, because they make them purchase things they're not supposed to purchase. You find out some people get a full house, and after buying it in less than 2-3 years, it's being demolished. So you understand, so there's no truthfulness, there's no sincerity. And sometimes you see some people tell you, oh no, it's well filled, it's no, it's not waterlogged, and by the time you build your house, you find out it's sinking, or the house is, you know, always maybe collapsing or something. So what are the few little things, tips that you can give them to watch out?
Yes, that's why they need to go to the Ministry of Housing. You know, we have areas has its own there's a way the government having that, you know, this land is acquisition, this land belongs to the government, we wouldn't go to that area, because in the future the government will still come back for what belongs to them.
They will come back for what belongs to them.
I saw a video yesterday that demolished the woman's house. She's in the US. She wasn't even here when they brought her house down. So it's a government's land. They sold to her. Wow.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about a little bit of what you do. So how long have you been into this business?
You know, I said earlier that it has always been part of me. That's what I do. So I've watched him even while I was growing up. He's into real estate, he's into agency, so it has made it easy for me. So
okay, at Auckland, do you guys sell only landed properties, or you sell old houses, landed properties?
At Auckland Heaven, we sell both land and landed property. And houses. Even we have so many at various locations. Yes, in Lagos, in Ogun State, we have at Ibadan, we have at
that's right.
We have at Abeokuta, Pansheke, and the likes of that. Also, we have at Abulegba.
Are you talking about your offices?
Okay.
Okay, you mean the land you've sold? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So Ajibo Estate.
The land I actually looking for a cheap land. Okay, so how do you come in from Auckland Havens to help us achieve this dream?
Okay, we are trying to look for a cheap land to buy. Okay, that's why we pull investors. This land is going for 50 million naira. We bring investors. Okay, you pay this 5 million, 2 million. So we gather that. So we sell the land. Okay, the land now. Okay. Okay, when you are getting the land, you can pay it. Yes.
Like, what's the starting, the investment, how long, the duration?
You can pay in bits. You can get more of that from when we at our office. You can get more of that.
More information.
Yes,
more information. Okay, what's the cheapest land that you have?
We have
not just in Lagos, like all the places you've mentioned.
You know, land is something that appreciates. So land is not that cheap, but we have some areas that are not yet developed. So you can get them at cheaper prices. We can still get for 500 and
500. Really?
Well, they are not
500. 500 can do it. Why not leave it there? Let it appreciate when you're tired. You do something about it.
like Ifo, but not Ifo
outside, like the
inside.
Ogun State, yes.
Ogun State.
I've heard a lot about it for that they have a lot of land there. We should be landowners.
You should,
right?
I mean, that's what I just told her.
Okay.
So someone I will call you after she.
So we need to get land,
right,
and of course we'll trust you to do justice, helping us because with all the information, somehow we still need a consultant that will be able to give us the full details. Okay, so for people who want to become a real estate consultant or a real estate manager, want to go into this business, what advice will you give to them? What should they look out for? What do they need to do? What education or I don't know certification they need to go into it?
You know, in everything's life you need a mentor. So just look up to those that are already there, so you don't make mistakes. So they can put you through one or two. So
they're just a mentor to be. So right now I can become a real estate.
There's no special training to becoming a real.
So I can just use you as the mentor, and that means I'm a real estate manager.
Those that are already there, you them, they put you through maybe for months.
Okay, I work with them for months. Oh, okay, before establishing myself. Anyways, we're still having her studio, so we'll just quickly go for a tip, and we'll still come back to continue the program. Debra is still with us, and this time to avoid financial scam. Well, we know that it's very easy. See, people who are selling as real estate. I know time Bimbo Ademoye. I'm specifically picking this one because when I heard the amount, I was like, of course there are worse errors. But if you see, she was like, where do I want to park my car now? Where you said there's a space, where will I park my car? Because the gates will not be able to close. Which, like, the house is so small, and if you see the amount they were calling, and she was like, you these real estate people, you know, she was really calling them out. And so many celebrities have also called out real estate managers or consultants for that. But anyways, I still call that as financial scam. Selling what you know is not up to it. But trust me, I know Debra and her company are very good, and they will not do that to you. So if you want to reach out to her, you can always go through our social media page and you can indicate. And I don't know if they have their Instagram, which you'll be sharing pretty soon at the end of the program. But before that, let's quickly go for a tip for avoid a financial scam in whatever way or whatever form. We'll be right back to continue the program with you. Stay with us. Take it away.
Tips to avoid common financial scams. In the last decade or so, banking frauds and financial scams have become a regular affair in the Indian financial system. Occasions of asset misappropriation, money, cybercrime, accounting fraud, bank advances without collateral, loan losses, are increasing continuously. In this age of globalization, not only in India, there are a large number of scams and frauds worldwide which vanish billions of dollars from investors directly or indirectly, impacting the global economy, financial systems, and lives of common people. The improved technology, internet usage, and the digitization has made life easier for everyone, with everything just a click away, be it online shopping, ordering food, or making payment, and so on. Generally, it happens that you get a phone, email, or message from an unknown person or company. Nowadays, scammers are on the telephone, at your door, in your mailing box, or online. So one always need to remain cautious and careful. Financial scams can happen at any time, with anyone, anywhere. Massive scams and frauds are out of our control to identify. Don't respond instantly to a phone call, letter, or email. You receive an email congratulating you that you've won the lottery. To avail lottery benefit, first you have to pay taxes and other charges. Please note that nobody can win the lottery if they don't enter. Avoid calls asking for charity and donation for victims, as it may target them to steal your credit card information. Don't download software from pop-up windows, or don't click on any hyperlink, as it may target you to gain your personal information, access your bank account. Install antivirus software and update it periodically, or strengthen your password and make it tough to crack. Frequently change your password to protect your bank account and other sensitive information. Do not wire your money or credit or debit card to a stranger or who claims to be a friend or relative. Do online transactions from safe encrypted websites. Don't give your financial information to an individual or business you don't know. Sometimes scammers call and claim to be from a government agency asking for personal information as it requires to be updated. Whenever you use a credit or debit card, beware that it can be cloned to obtain financial advantage or use your balance. Furthermore, never let your card out of your sight while making payment. To avoid check frauds, don't sign the blank check before completing all details, including the amount. Keep checkbooks in a safe place and better to use net banking rather than checkbooks.
All right, welcome back. You're still watching Women's Corner. Yes, we have Debra in the house, and of course, she's been educating us on how to be a real estate manager, consultant, and if you want to get land and wherever, she mentioned places not everywhere in the world though. But if you want to get it, she's very available to do that. So I'm just going to ask you first: do you have an Instagram handle for your company so they can reach out to you, or social media pages actually?
Okay. On Twitter X, we have Whole Client Heaven Real Estate Limited on Twitter.
Okay.
Then on Instagram, same Whole Client Heaven Real Estate Investments.
So there's this thing we hear a lot of people talk about real estate managers and consultants, especially the ladies. They talk about the challenges that they go through as a lady. You said something very important. You said most times this thing is for the men. Yeah. So but women now are kind of taking over, right? So and I know women, there's no how. People you see in the real estate are always pretty, always smart. You must have that skill to talk to people. So tell me, what was maybe I don't know. I don't really use the worst. Like, what was let me use today. What was the worst experience for you? Having to try to convince a customer, a client. Let me use a client to get a land or buy land, and you had to go on and on. What was the worst experience for you? Share it.
Okay. That would be you trying to talk to a client that this land is available here, come and get at a cheaper price. You just leave it there. Any money you're not using at the moment is what you put in there. So you guys will just say, I don't have time for that, please. I have other things to do. I have to do other things. So just continue to put pressure.
So no one has ever, just only the pressure. That's the only challenge. Nobody has insulted you. We need real experience, like the worst of it.
I can't say no.
No one has insulted you.
No.
Oh,
because everyone knows land appreciates, so it's for your own good investing in real estate.
Okay, so what was the best? Has there been any kind of experience whereby you just meet somebody, you show the person the land, once it's spent, and that's it, and the person paid?
Yes, when a client is already made up in it, I want to get this thing, you don't need to do too much. So it's very easy for you to just one talk. Going to persuade it too much before they get it, because you already made up their mind. I'm going into this, I'll get it. So.
Yes. I have one difficult question. I'm able to answer. Okay. So it has to do with the Calabar Coastal Road. Okay. I mean, it's an agent that sold those lands to the people that bought them and built their houses, and now federal government had come and taken that place. If you were one of the agents, what will you do for your clients?
When government comes at times to take the land that belongs to them, which we call acquisition, they do give those people that were victims, they do pay them some amount of money. It may not be up to what they call the value the property, and they can just pay them, maybe not all, but they can still compensate them.
Is it you, the client, and you, the
no,
that's
it, or the clients themselves?
It depends.
It
depends.
So, but once the federal government able to pay a certain amount, yes. What do you do? Your company, what do you guys? Because that's one of the things we're talking about, that people are complaining about real estate managers, because you already know how the land is, but you sold it to them without even giving them prior notice that this is what it is. Do you do anything afterwards when they demolish that property, or is the federal government that has to do everything?
That is why we'll make sure we do our findings well before we bring our clients to buy any land, so there won't be problem in the future.
So what do you now think about people who go after the estate managers or estate that have sold the property to them without informing them? What do you think about that?
You know, sometimes some people can just decide they want to get land. The families may not even ask them to sell. They just sell without the families consent, just because they need money. They are not concerned about the feelings of others, and so it happens like that. But
it's not even about the family now.
Yes.
They paid, and the federal government comes 3-4 years later to demolish that land or that property that you bought from the real estate manager. Now, for those who go after those real estate managers, even though the federal government wants to give them, because for me, I feel like they give them a stipend from what they've probably, you know, bought, the money they bought with the land, with the property rather. So what do you think of people who go after this real estate managers or real estate company demanding for their money back, because obviously they to them knowing that it's a federal government property?
Such we don't do,
right? I'm just
but
asking.
if such happens to some estate agents, then we have to pay.
So you support that they have to pay to
I don't
compensate?
support that.
You don't support it so that they will not come for you too, I mean. So now that means it's between them and the federal government. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
I wanted to get clear.
Can you
imagine? To just pull out.
They pull out. They made their money.
Federal government.
Okay, all right. Anyway, so we've come to the end of the program. So Patricia, a very beautiful one. We've had so much fun, and to be honest, I've always been interested in landing properties. It's just like I said, when I hear real estate, I run with if I have 4 legs, I run with 4 legs. Because I've seen a lot of people, you know,
complain,
go bankrupt, actually stranded, because you know they invested into something that they don't even know about, but they feel like the experts will, you know, guide them through, but somehow they were conned. But like I said, it's not every real estate managers that like that, like you said, is something to push. But you see that one that you said that is the federal government and them, I don't buy that. They should come after the real estate agent, after the company. But anyway, thank you so much for being part of the show. It's been amazing. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. All right, so Patricia, let's go.
You know, let me say something.
Okay, yes, please.
To be in this, because I know that the real estate is, you know, but she's very gentle.
Probably when you see her on the job, you'll be shocked.
She gave me assurance that at Oakland Heavens, we could reach them. Yes. That's what her parents is saying to me. And I want to trust her because, you know, we talked about Provider Fight. We don't care where it is.
Don't worry.
Inside the job, we
will go and buy it.
We'll go and buy it.
So far, we are landlords. It's
so
fine.
Just,
yeah.
When we're talking.
We said, you buy our land in first. Oh my word. It is so fun. They don't know that. This is just bragging.
People that
have landing good places will not complain, or they will not talk too much. Patricia, wrap up. Let's go.
Thank you for joining us.